Prayer is vital to the life of every true Christian. It is one of 5 tools of spiritual growth. Yet this tool is underutilized and greatly misapplied. Millions profess to be Christian and never pray. Many others do, but report that their prayers go unanswered. Understand, Christians pray. Prayer is talking to God. Do you know how to talk to God? God is a Christian's father. As his child, you must speak to, talk to, pray to him. How you do this is infinitely more important than most begin to realize. Jesus taught, pray after this manner. What was the manner of prayer he taught? You need to know. Here are the steps, the powerful keys to truly effective prayer.
The world to come. The Restored Church of God presents David C. Pack.
The Bible is filled with accounts of answered prayers. Moses pleaded with God not to destroy rebellious Israel. God heard and changed his mind. Samuel's mother Hannah had been barren. She implored God to give her a child. The result? A great prophet was born. King David beseeched God to forgive him for great sins. God did, and David will rule all Israel in the resurrection. And just before his crucifixion, Jesus asked God to protect his disciples. God did and has for 2,000 years. God answered these people's prayers. He will also answer yours, but there are conditions. You must approach God his way, not your way. People must know how, when, how often, where, and what to pray for. God explains in his word. Let's start by looking at some of the conditions to answered prayer. First, ask in faith. The Apostle Paul wrote, without faith it is impossible to please God. Why? Because he who comes to God must believe that he is, that God exists, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. For God to answer your prayers, you must first know he exists and that he will hear you. This takes faith. Jesus said, all things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believing you shall receive. The Apostle James added, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. Now, what is faith? Here is the Bible's definition. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is your proof that God will keep his promises. It is your guarantee he will come through. Our free booklet, What is Real Faith, carefully explains this central element of true Christianity. God cannot lie. He always fulfills his promises. And he promises that if you faithfully turn to him, he will turn to you. God will answer your prayers, but there are other conditions. Next is, be diligent. Most people pray for healing or to find a job or a mate once or twice and then give up. But Jesus said, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asks receives, he that seeks finds, to him that knocks it shall be opened. Then he added, or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, compared to God, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Let God know you are serious about your request. Keep in mind that he seldom answers in the way or time frame most want. God does things his way, according to his timetable. If a matter is important to you, don't pray just once. Keep coming to God, not in a nagging way, but with sincere, heartfelt petitions. Be diligent. Let God know you mean it. Then, pray for God's will, not your own. Almost everyone prays for selfish reasons. Some ask God to bless them in winning the lottery. Others pray that their enemies get their just deserts, and so forth. but are they seeking God's will? Notice, you lust and have not. You kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you have not because you ask not. You ask and receive not because you ask amiss, that you may consume it on your lusts. If your mind is on foolish, carnal lusts, God will not hear you. Requests must be centered on what God desires. The Apostle John wrote, "This is the confidence that we have in God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. And if we know that He hears us, whatsoever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of Him." The Bible contains over 1,500 pages of God's expressed will. If you study it daily, you can understand what God wants. Now, have a humble, yielded attitude. The carnal mind is deceitful, even to itself, and is naturally hostile to God and His spiritual laws. It cannot obey Him. This world's Christianity does not know this, so its religionists, teachers, and leaders don't preach it. Yet the Bible teaches God only hears those who are humble, teachable, and yielded to Him. God said this through the prophet Isaiah, "To this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite